And our first order of business is the approval of our last meeting. And I need a motion on that. Motion by Kate, seconded by Rob. If you see any corrections or anything that needs to be changed for Jan. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to our informational items. We have Mr. Johnson here, and Brian will answer any questions pertaining to the sanitary district. The report looked pretty good to me. I couldn't find anything that I need to ask you about. I am going to take you up sometime on a tour down there. I noticed in reading the minutes that you had offered us that tour. And okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions for Brian, the executive director for our sanitary district? No questions. All right, we'll move on to the next item, and it's the facilities master plan. Is Mark here? All right, Mark. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Not a whole lot to update today. We did complete the project down at One Tech Plaza with all the painting and all the carpeting. It's been completed. Invoices have been approved and are out for payment, so that's all completed. The only other thing I want to update you on, just an FYI, that our lead engineer here, Rick Kowalski, will be retiring at the end of April. So he's got about another month and a half left. He did let us know several weeks ago, and so we have filled his position already. So we have an offer on the table. Somebody accepted. So they will be starting in a couple weeks. So Rick's been with us almost 18 years. So he's been very instrumental in taking care of the plaza and all the outside areas. So.
Any questions for Mark? Mark, I do know that, you know, you've been responsible for inspecting a lot of these buildings and so forth, and with this money that we are going to receive, I hope you, do as best as possible in seeing if this money can be used for anything that would, of course, benefit our infrastructure committee as well as the county and rest of our people and so forth. So do a lot of thinking of where possibly this money might be used.
Well, we have about $3 million in roof projects. We'd love to have $3 million for to do.
Roofs? Yeah, bad.
But we'll see how that goes. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of other things that need taken care of that's been kind of neglected the last several years. So.
Thank you very much. All right, we do have a person that has called in, Chairman Rand, and I need a motion to put him. Motion by Jimmy, seconded by Kate. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Mr. Rand, you are now officially entered into the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, since we have 3 resolutions that we want to look at, we need a motion on our first resolution. And motion by Betty, seconded by Kate. Okay, this is the Green Gold Road resurfacing bid letting, and Mr. Gillis is going to take that particular one for us.
Good morning, or afternoon, I'm sorry. Logan Township is going to utilize their rebuild funds and Township Motor Fuel Tax funds to improve Green Gold Road, which is about a mile east of Hannah City. The project is slated to improve the crown of the road and then put a seal coat over it. The road commissioner has been doing ditch work and culvert replacements and things like that, and this will be the final phase of what he wants to do. These are all 100% township funds and township fund or rebuild funds allocated to the township. There's no county funds in it at all. Just because the highway department has to handle the township motor fuel tax funds, that's why it's in front of you today. We received only one bid on March 9th, and the bid was for $129,250.17. However, it was less than our cost estimate of $141,562, so we are calling it an acceptable bid. And I will answer any questions if you have them.
That you put your hand up, just straightening your hair. Anybody with any questions? None for Jeff. All right, thank you, Jeff. Calling the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. The second resolution that we need a motion on has to do with the township bids for our seal coating and tilling, and I need a motion on that. Motion by Kate, second by Betty. All right, Amy, you're going to handle that for us, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the annual Township Sealcoating program. This is 100% township funds. The county administers the program on behalf of the townships because, as Jeff mentioned, we oversee the township motor fuel tax funds. We received bids from 3 contractors. We had to throw out the bids from the Porter Brothers company. They had exceeded their capacity for work before we opened the bids, so that made them ineligible. So there was depending on the next lowest bid, we had some of the townships have second lowest bid with pavement maintenance, and then some other ones had low bids from R.A. Cullinan. There were 2 townships that opted not to do any seal coating, and that's their choice since it was their funds. So I'm happy to try to answer any questions for the committee.
Now when Rosefield and Millbrook, when they refuse to do anything right now, can they do something later?
They can. They can later on. We'd have to see what the schedule looks like, because if we're putting out the proposals, it depends on our availability to work with them to get that done.
Any questions for Amy? Seeing none, call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Our third resolution has to do with the annual engineering contract that we make with the Bradley University. Someone would make a motion on that so we could act on it. Motion by Betty, second by Rob. Okay, Amy, you're going to handle that engineering for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is our annual agreement with Bradley University's Civil Engineering Department. They help the county highway department out by evaluating the condition of the county highway system, by doing visual inspections for us, and then helping by rate the condition of the pavements. They do half the system every year. We've been working with them for quite a number of years, and it's been a very good relationship. It helps give us information, so when we have discussions with the public, we have some good numbers and tell them what the conditions of the road are, and so they're more well informed. So we'd like to continue this agreement with the university, and happy to try to answer any questions on that.
And working with this engineering department of Bradley, of course, enables you to see the work done by some of the potential engineers that, if you ever get the opportunity to hire them, you may have the good experience with them, and you say, hey, we want these people to work for us, and so forth, and that's good. Anybody that has a question for Amy? It's been a very successful program thus far. All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. Moving on to our discussion. Jim Dillon last month asked I should say he made a request of the highway department, and Amy is going to give us a preview of this, or I should say a review, because some of us, except probably for Betty, have not had that experience, but we can all learn and maybe pick up some things that we missed the first time around or the second time around. Go ahead, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. If you can see on the screen, we have the county highway map up, and just want to kind of give you a real quick lay of the land with regard to jurisdiction. The roads that are in the color red, those are county highways. The roads that are in color black, those are either state routes or municipal streets. And then the roads that are in the color blue are township roads. The township roads, each township, it's a 36 square mile area, and they're overseen by an elected official, an elected road commissioner. And we work with them, as we mentioned earlier, with some of their motor fuel tax expenditures. The state routes, so that's Illinois Department of Transportation or the various municipalities. We work with the city of Peoria a lot when there's an intersection between a county road and a municipal or a state route. And then ours on the county system. On the map, we have approximately 300 miles of road, a little over 300 miles of road throughout the county. And you can kind of see that they're kind of all over the county. A lot in the rural area, some in the suburban area, and a few in the urbanized area of the city. Within those 300 miles, we have about approximately 80 bridge structures that we oversee, and so we inspect those on a regular basis. We also work with the townships and inspect their bridges as well, and work with them on programming rehabilitation or replacements. And the city has about 10 bridge structures that we inspect and work with them and help them with as well. Things that we do, we oversee anything on the public right-of-way, whether it be potholes, snow removal, drainage, or vegetation. If it's on the right-of-way, then we have a hand in that generally. We have a fleet department where we oversee approximately 300 pieces of equipment and licensed units. So for the various county departments, including highway, animal control, juvenile detention, sheriff, those departments. And engineering, we oversee the road and bridge design and construction projects, which you see come before you monthly basis, the different projects we're bringing forward. And we inspect the bridges as well. The department has 42 employees, and that's made up of highway maintainers, mechanics, engineers, technicians, and administrative folks. The department oversees 6 funds that we make recommendations for the board to approve for budgetary purposes. We have 3 that are funded by property tax funds and 3 that are funded with IDOT funds. Of those 6 funds, 2 of those are specific for township. There's township motor fuel tax and township bridge, and they have to go to township type projects. Overall, our budget that you approve for us each year is in the order of magnitude between $14 and $15 million. We did get an increase from the state of Illinois, the Department of Transportation revenues we get in for motor fuel tax. So we do have a little bump to help with our expenditures. We do have things that we pay for. We pay for, of course, materials, anything to do with vehicles. We pay for the fuel, the salt. Anything that we bring before the committee is what we have expense, and it's in the budget book. But I'm happy to, if anybody ever has any questions, happy to walk you through some of our expenditures. Where are the funds going? So we got a good department. We got a lot of good folks that work for us, and they really care. They care about what they do because they live here. Well, we all live here, but they do care. So they try to do their best for us, and we just appreciate the support the board gives us, so we can do everything we can for the highway. But that was really brief. But if there's any questions or If anybody ever wants a tour, it's not as glamorous as the sanitary district tour, but happy to give you a tour if you'd like to see the highway department.
Questions for Amy? Those who sit through American history classes know that what she's talking about when she talks about the townships and so forth dates back to about 1787, because that's when the Northwest Ordinance Act was adopted, and they, of course, set up the township system. So townships go way back in our history. We were not even under our Constitution when this act was adopted. Anyone with any questions or comments? Yes.
Since I asked for that, I know I've said it before, but I'll take this opportunity again to thank Amy and Jeff and their team for what they do with the little amount of money. When we talk about $14-15 million, that sounds like a lot of money, but when you're maintaining that much roadways and that many bridges, that's not a lot. And I would think I'd be remiss not to also recognize the employees for being team players when we've gone to them multiple times in budget crises. That unit is the first unit to try to play ball and has also offered up their increases, knowing that would potentially cost employees if they did not do that, and they decided not to take a wage freeze. So that unit has always been about, as she said, about county first, and they do a remarkable job. And as I've told Scott before and Amy before, you know, the equipment that they have when they talk about those 300 pieces, I don't know if they still have it, but I'm pretty sure they probably do. I think they have equipment older than I am on some of the things that they still use and maintain. That's how well they take care of items that they have, which ideally we'd like to have new ones for them because the parts and everything else costs more. But kudos to these two. It starts at top, and these two are top notch that we have in that division. So thanks for that report.
Any other questions?
I just want to say I recommend going out and taking a look at the facilities. I went out there last year. Maybe it was longer ago than that, and it's just nice to lay your eyes on the facility and see what we have out there.
Yes.
They do also have their own physical capital needs of a new salt dome and new maintenance building out there and the new gas station. So there's quite a bit, not even roads, but they also have their own physical needs because, as Kate said, the facilities that they're in are old. It was an old part of it in the back that's been, I mean, there's some old buildings that need tore down there too, so.
Anyone else with a question? I'm moving on to miscellaneous, and when they talk about needs and so forth, I know Scott has been keeping us up on this new American Rescue Plan, and I'm sure Amy in her area and all of us on this particular committee, we've all got our wish list, and I'm sure our chairman also has got his wish list for a number of things, and we all should, because we're going to use that money in the best interest of the people of Peoria County. So if anybody wants to make a comment in regard to the American Rescue Plan, it's open to you to make those comments, whether Scott has any updating for us or not. But thank you, Scott, for the information that we have been receiving, that I know I've been receiving. I get them by hard copy, you guys get them electronically and so forth, but they are the same. Did the county board chairman want to make any comment on this?
Not at this time, Phil, but thank you.
Okay. I know this does not necessarily pertain to this committee, but under miscellaneous, I'm going to take this opportunity. Mr. Chairman, are you going to be able to get to that redistricting committee tonight, or are we going to be represented there?
See how it goes. Is that tonight?
5 to 7.
Tomorrow.
5 to 7, yeah. But I I know you're a busy person. I didn't want to make a phone call to you. Okay, any other thing under miscellaneous? The meeting is adjourned.